today I'm reacting to the game theory video on Bob Mod. Yaz. This is okay. You look stupid. You kind of look like. How dare you? Hate you, boyfriend. You're the worst. How dare you disobey Bob like that? Bob be like. Game over, man.
That escalated quickly.
Yes, it did. Bendy be like.
Hello,
Game theory. Among Us, imposter. Spit rhymes. Some parappa the rapper. Who the frick is this? What? Oh, okay. Don't care.
I really want to host this thing. It's been a childhood dream of mine to just, stand up on that stage for one episode. And if people like Dr. Oz can host this thing, then why not an edutainment YouTuber like myself? Or any of the other actual edutubers that are here on the platform. I think a digital creator deserves
Get through the Bob Mod already, stupid. I wanted you to do this for like forever. I know the Bob Mod has lore, so get into it already, stupid.
Deserves their shot, well, I need you to sign the petition below. It's linked in the description. I need about 300,000 signatures at minimum, because that's what it took for LeVar Burton to get tapped for 5 episodes. So if we have a shot, we need to crush those numbers. So thank you guys so much for your help. Fingers crossed that
get into the Bob Mod.
Just gives us more opportunity to complain about how traditional media just doesn't do it. Thank you so much. Now on with today's episode. And I know what you're thinking. Another Friday Night Funkin' theory. Did you already do 2 of these and the game isn't even in its full state?
No, he didn't. I'm not sick of this.
About something far bigger, something far more sinister than Friday Night Funkin'.
I don't care about girlfriend.
A massive ARG mystery that came out of the Friday Night Funkin' mod community. In case you're not familiar, a game mod is anytime someone's been able to manipulate the game's code to change how it behaves and looks, sometimes even creating entirely new stories and gameplay modes. And to be honest,
please get into the Bob Mod. I've been waiting. I don't care about Mario. He's stupid after what he's trying to do. Wario, be like. Is that the Flumpy? Pokemon?
It's just where you get some of the most creative, exciting ideas coming from new game designers who are still learning their craft. But I tend not to cover
petition to make. I hate Doki Doki now. Shut up. I hate Doki Doki Literature Club now. Shut up. Yeah. The Friday Night Funkin'. I don't care about boyfriend. He sucks. Yeah, Bob. Bob be like, yes. Yes, Bob wants Bendy in the Ink Machine.
Yes, that is the actual full title of this thing. Earlier this year, the mod was everywhere.
Yes.
It gained so much attention is because it's
Bijou might be like
other Friday Night Funkin' mods, clearly drawn characters, clunky, crass dialogue, and memes. All
Ron.
There's a fart sound effect button because it's so low random. We go up against the little man whose bonus song is nearly 8 minutes straight of breaking glass, rugs, dancing, "Ayo, there's pizza here" meme, and Spotify ads.
Want a break from the ads?
Hey, go, pizza here.
Shut up!
There's even a character named Ron who is literally a dancing meme folder. His song, when cranked up to 1.75 speed, by the way, is my favorite to come out of anything Friday Night Funkin' related. Not gonna lie, I think it's a bop.
Yes.
But the real star of this 2-part mod is a black and white animated character whose boyfriend prepares to dream. And I gotta admit, it's not entirely wrong. I can definitely see the family.
Shut up.
Anyway, the mod uses the same basic progression that you'd expect from a Friday Night Funkin' mod. Boyfriend is introduced to a new challenger. Each song becomes slightly harder. Tap arrows to win. Except Bob is a little bit different. Sure, after you beat him the first time, he becomes a little mad bro. But if you beat him again, things go insane.
Oh no.
And transforms into a black blob with photos
Yes,
of the
run.
Himself, boyfriend, and girlfriend to what can only be assumed is some sort of hellscape. Or at least that's what we assume. The devs apparently couldn't afford to pay for the cutscene that shows us that part. At this point, there's a huge spike in difficulty as the game just becomes one big creepypasta. Bob's eyes flash across the screen. You struggle through it. If you manage to make it to the end of the song, it just, fortunately for us, So there's a part 2. A few months after part 1's release, the Bob mod got itself a sequel titled
Bob's Onslaught,
Onslaught.
yeah.
It shows us that he suddenly has control over the game. He makes parts of the UI disappear, elements spin around, he moves the game window, ads open up blocking the player's view, and through it all the notes come at an inhuman rate. This thing is crazy. And if he somehow managed to beat this insanely difficult challenge, the screen goes black. Bob claims that he has no more trick stream here. But then things glitch and reveal a Google Drive leak. And this
Yes.
is where it gets real weird. Now, this part of the game seems
Lore,
to have been
lore, feed me the lore. Feed me lore. Feed me all the lore you have.
Boy, oh boy, things go way, way deeper than you first thought. So, what's really going
Lore,
on?
give me
Let's find out.
lore.
When we jump into the drive, we find a slew of documents, images, and sound files for us to investigate. The drive
Lore.
is owned by someone called Lennon Noah. And by searching through the files, we start to get a sense of who this guy really is. Looking at the file of Noah family expenses, we learn that this is a family of 3. Father Lennon, wife Jess, daughter Jane. Another file, titled Dear Lennon, starts to reveal to us that the family is in trouble. Jess has fears that her husband is starting to grow distant from the family. We learn from another file, Lennon's writings, that the day after the letter was written, Jess and Lennon are on the rocks. She doesn't believe him about something, but what? Well, by jumping back and forth between all the different files, we can actually assemble a timeline of events. A few
What?
days after Jess and Lennon's fight, we see that Lennon has been blocked from spending family finances after buying a book called How to Clean Carpets,
Okay.
which was prompted from a, quote, liquid accident at work. The next day, he's fired from his job, as evidenced by the pink slip that's
Lol.
folded. And it's here where we just
Oh no, it's Bob.
what Lennon's been up to.
Crap, it's him.
Don't know what this weird goop in your office is, but you can't do this on company grounds. You barely do work, and you're always too busy with your AI side projects to do any work.
Oh, you got roasted.
You
got roasted, man. You got roasted.
I've done so much with this goo, it has to work. This AI I've created, I love him so much. He is so smart. I have to bring him to our realm. He will
Wow.
be beautiful. An AI,
Sus.
serious goo coming to our realm. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got ourselves an Afton.
Oh no, William Afton. Oh no.
Sometimes you know that this is not going to end well. Lennon is clearly trying to bring his AI Bob to life.
Oh
in
no,
some sort of
it's
organic
Bob.
goo. The picture labeled unknown inside the file practically confirms this for us. As we see in the black goo, the letters B-O-B. So, is that it? All done? Case closed, friends? Oh,
No.
this is just the beginning. There's still 4 files left.
How long is this video?
A picture file and
Oh my god, he has so much lore.
and finally a picture called
Favorite.
You get the point. And it's here that things start to change from a little story
Bob.
to one of the
It's
most
Bob. Look,
creative,
see, look,
fully
Bob.
blown
It's
ARGs
Bob.
that I've covered on the channel. Let's start with the audio file plans. And if you have
Plan.
headphones, you might want to turn the volume down very briefly. I just want to give you a taste of what this thing sounds like, because it's pretty
What?
unusual, but also a bit sharp and piercing. Sounds
This
like
is my
maybe
jam.
Morse code, right? Or maybe plugging it into a spectrogram will get us an image. We've done both of those methods solving mysteries in the past, but nope, not this
Fortnite. Take the L. Take the L. Take the L. Take the L. Oh no. Where's the Bob lore? Give me more Bob lore. I already know this crap. I need more Bob lore so I can continue on with Boba. She's stupid. She's stupid.
So let's just listen to the audio file briefly one last time so you can hear that header and also identify the synchronizing pulses. Cool, right? Okay, we're now officially done with obnoxious audio files, so you can set your headphones back to normal. Now, in the early days of space exploration, SSTV was actually used to transmit images of the far side of the moon. Nowadays, it's not really used that much since, you know, you can just send an email attachment. And I gotta say, honestly, in all my lore hunting and ARG series, it's the first time that I've ever really encountered this method of clue solving. So, really awesome.
Please feed me more lore.
How do you solve this sort of thing? Luckily, there are online converters.
Bob.
We get the following.
Bob.
He wants to tell me that what is going on.
Dee dee.
Image of a URL that's inside, which leads to a website that seems like it's all about about the memes, but actually contains another piece of information. Using the classic technique of upping the contrast levels, we find that down in the bottom right it says just Noah's page.
You know I'm going to cut this part out, right?
Which contains a link to an
Eh, who
audio file
cares?
called Dispatch. This one
You
is
just wanna mess with me, don't you?
Yep.
So here's a clip that you can listen to.
That's why I wish you weren't my brother.
Yes, but I can you.
You can hear a robotic voice reading out a long
Jenny.
related words. This is actually a code written in what's called the NATO alphabet. A alpha, B, Bravo, C, Charlie, etc. It's a type of spelling alphabet.
Ooh, woo.
You spell something over audio-only signals without the letters getting confused with each other, since we know a lot of them sound alike. The result is this absolutely glorious phrase, Ed Mucci.
Be right back. Hold up.
Clearly, there's more here that needs to be solved. So,
Feed me more lore, you stupid baby. What more lore?
Suspects were. I told you this was a really creative, really wild mystery. I was stumped until I looked at the other clues that were left in the folder. One of the last things that we haven't talked about is the file Jane. And honestly, there's a reason why. It's just the daughter's homework assignment. And let's just say it's not going to get a grade worthy of hanging up on the refrigerator. Her page we see Jane bunch of misspellings, saying that she's learning the alphabet. Notably, leaving off the last letter of her practice alphabets, the Z on the first and the A on the second. Something tells me that teacher is going to have to break out the red pen when grading this one. The teacher has here ready to give her an A+, because all of those missing letters and misspellings are a whole lot of ARG red flags. The only question is what they mean. Well, Jane says that her favorite game is
Foursquare.
and that is our biggest clue of all. You see, there's a type of puzzle called a four-square cipher that involves 4 squares of letters, ideally arranged in a grid of 5 by 5. The eagle-eyed among you may have already worked out that a 5 by 5 grid works out to 25 letters, but there are 26 letters in the alphabet. And this is when you realize that's why Jane's alphabet leaves a letter out of each one, which means it's time to make the square.
Bob.
The forward alphabet will go in the upper right-hand corner, and the backward cipher will actually go into the bottom left. In the other 2 blocks, we'll use a standard alphabet with I and J combined, which is a traditional way to solve these sorts of puzzles. And yeah, we have ourselves a giant grid of letters. Now what? Well, now it's time for that handy phrase from earlier, where we're going to use it like coordinate points. Find points in our new grid. As an example, we start with the letters E and D. To decode this, we actually need to find the E in our first cipher text box in the top right and D in our second cipher text box in the bottom left. Now we see where those 2 overlap in our plain alphabets to get the letter C. We do this again in the lower alphabet block to get the letter Z. This makes the first part of the deciphered text to be CZ, and U becomes IH, CX becomes CC, and so on and so on and so on until we end up with something that really looks better than what we started with. Notice the repeated word capital and the equals at the end? Well, if we take the capitals and turn the letter after it into a capital letter and the equals at the end into an equal sign, we get something that looks closer to this. Now it is finally in base 64, which means there's one last step to decoding it. But you also have to lose that X at the end because it was just a placeholder to make sure that the text worked out properly. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. There's a lot of smaller details here. Long story short, you eventually wind up with a paste bin link that leads you to another Google Drive. This one is ominously titled Case File, and it finally gives us the information we needed to have a complete picture of everything that happened. From reading the files, we learned that the black goo wasn't enough to bring Bob back to life. He needed
Bob.
So Lennon pulled a Norman Osborn and tested it on himself. When that wasn't enough, he took his wife and child with the sole purpose of sacrificing them to Bob, as confirmed by the character profile file. However, that document also reveals something else. A few days later, his daughter Jane was found covered in black goo, heavily disfigured and in a coma, but still alive. Apparently, she wasn't fit to be the host for Bob, and she escaped, but Jess and Lennon remained missing. And that's where the story ends. There's still some clues that don't have places, like the SSTV signal image doesn't really connect to anything, and the symbols and images that appear in the folder entitled evidence, but
We need more lore. Feed us more lore.
of course, as I was writing the script, something new was added to the mystery. The developers asked me for it to stop. Now, clearly visible in the original Google Drive folder is a subfolder labeled ARG Spoilers. The developers go over all the story details and then clearly state Lennon has nothing to do with the canon of Bob Knott or Memphis. Sorry for the weird ARG. See, according to the developers, the ARG started as something small, just some inside jokes in the source code of the game that led them to think that they could make a full ARG. Soon they had accomplished exactly what they wanted, but in their words, quote, it eventually started to grow in popularity and started taking a toll on the ARG devs and full stage. I just wanted to get this thing to a close so I can put my mind at ease. As someone who's worked on multiple ARGs in the past, I can totally understand this. Things very easily get out of hand very quickly. But I still want to do this episode to bring this whole thing to light because this was, without exaggeration, one of the most clever ARG experiences I've yet seen online. It also answered a lot of questions regarding the sinister nature of the Bob mod, which I thought was really cool, even if it doesn't wind up being
Boyfriend,
canon. And
stupid.
lastly, this made me think, maybe things aren't
Dream,
quite done with
no.
Bob. See, they say that ARG has nothing to do with
Boyfriend
Bob's
ain't
in-game lore,
dream.
but there is still one thing
Boyfriend
in common. If you beat the
stupid.
first Bob
Boyfriend
mod
is
on
freaking
Bob,
stupid.
Bob is mad. This page
Bob
gives
is
you
mad.
clues to find a second website, and then another, and another, and another. You end up at a site where it tells you that Bob is happy you get here. Seems sweet, but a problem occurs if you keep digging. There's a hexadecimal code at the bottom of the page, and decoding it leads you to yet another webpage where Bob states, "What, how you hear, I am angry." If you keep going by solving binary, Morse, and base 64 codes, Bob gets madder and madder until he gets covered in goo and disappears, leaving the message, "Do realize what you've done." The devs learn that Bob doesn't like people looking into his origins, and when they do, he disappears to claim that person as his next victim. So in some weird way, the ARG being called over may actually just be another part of the ARG. I don't really think it is, but from a story perspective, there's truly no way to canonically end this ARG without it feeling like an actual legit part of the lore. Because the ARG and finding out about Bob's past is just part of that process. Scenario. Anyway, Bob clearly likes attention. He wants people to play with him, but he doesn't want those people to look into his backstory. And when they do, he hops over to his new host. And so now
Frick
here we are
you.
talking about him. Is that a good thing? Are we making him happy? Or by talking about his past, are we making it bad?
You're next,
Anyway, the whole
lol,
thing's over now. It
noob.
wasn't canon anyway, so it really shouldn't matter.